What are the different interpretations of karma? Are you actually aware of what consequences you are creating for yourself and for others on a moment-by-moment basis? Break the cycle of karma altogether. How? What exactly does karma actually mean? It's more than useful to be aware that you actually store karma and how it's tripping you up. The moment that you talk about karma, the idea of reincarnation creeps in. When you make yourself complicit by being party to others' actions that might cause someone harm, even merely as an accessory, you're not altogether exempt from accruing negative karma for yourself. Why is that? Why is life not giving you all the happiness that you deserve? You might say it's karma, but consider that karma is not what you think it is. It shapes absolutely every aspect of your life, and yet karma is mostly misunderstood. Unseen yet powerful, karma is the mystic force that shapes your destiny. In this video, we'll explore the origins of karma, what karma actually is, its different interpretations, its impact on you. We'll even dive into how we acquire karma from other people and how to create good karma, and even how to break the endless cycle of karma on your soul's journey. Hi, welcome to the Self-Discovery Show. I'm your host, Smita Joshi. I'm the author of the Amazon bestseller, Karma and Diamonds Trilogy. I'm a transformation coach and a certified yoga teacher. There are many interpretations of karma, and yet karma remains a universal principle at its heart, illuminating the interplay between actions, consequences, and personal accountability. So that we better understand this concept, let's take a look at when people first talked about karma. Harking back to ancient Indian texts, the understanding of karma as an invisible consequence of our actions has deep roots. The idea first appeared in 700 BC in India in an ancient text called the Upanishad, and people have been talking about it ever since. So people have been talking about karma for at least 3,000 years. The author of that ancient text is called Yajnavalkya. He said, "Now, as a man is like this or like that, according as he acts and according as he behaves, so will he be. A man of good acts becomes good. A man of bad acts, bad. He becomes pure by pure deeds, bad by bad deeds." And here they say that a person consists of desires, and as is his desire, so is his will. As is his will, so is his deed. And whatever deed he does, that he will reap. In the way that we would say it, karma is a result of our thoughts, intentions, desires, all of which drive our actions, good ones and bad ones. But at what point does karma actually take hold? And at what point do your thoughts and actions actually impact your destiny? Long after Yajnavalkya first talked about karma in 700 BC, different groups and religions have taken up the idea and changed its meaning in their own ways. So, what are the different interpretations of karma? When karma was originally referred to in texts such as the Upanishad, its intention was to imply that as a conscious being capable of self-awareness, man is the master of his destiny and therefore creates his destiny through the quality of his actions. But nowadays, the word karma often has a disempowering and negative connotation. It implies that you're a victim of your karma, helpless and indicted to some awful life as a result of sins of your past. In the West, the theory of karma is largely used to explain why suffering exists. The concept of sin is implied in the Western take on karma. But the moment that you talk about karma, the idea of reincarnation creeps in. To grasp reincarnation, you have to realize that you are not just your body. You are consciousness, eternal and undying. This consciousness is called Atman in Sanskrit. It's the body that dies, but you as the soul or consciousness go on. The Indian mystic Osho says, Though the body dies, the mind does not. Why? Because it still has unfulfilled desires. So a person's soul takes birth in a new body through which to fulfill those desires. That's the theory of reincarnation. This means that the soul keeps coming back in different bodies to fulfill its karma, but like a fish on a hook without having a choice in the matter. The real reason that we keep coming back is because of our unfulfilled desires. And what happens is that we get deeper and deeper into the karmic trenches. But once you're able to break the cycle of karma, to clear the karmic account, then the soul has a choice in ascending to higher realms of consciousness, or voluntarily come back to do good for good, but in a totally karmic-free way. The Indian Vedic view is that the cycle of rebirth involves more pain than pleasure, and so salvation lies in the liberation of the soul from this cycle. This liberation from the cycle of death and rebirth and attaining absolute freedom is called moksha in Sanskrit. The Jains and the Buddhists also embrace the theory of karma. Jainism says that all matter has sentient life or jiva and therefore is sacred. If left alone, without being harmed in any way, it has the possibility to exist in eternal bliss. So the Jain view is not to harm any living thing intentionally or unintentionally if you're to be freed from the cycle of death and rebirth. Gautam Buddha's own view of karma is closely linked to the Vedic view in the Upanishads as described in his Noble Eightfold Path. But unlike the Jains, Buddha placed Chetna or conscious awareness at the center of his view of karma. In this context, Chetna can be interpreted to mean intention. So in the Buddhist philosophy, what matters is what takes place in the mind. It's the intention behind the act that determines its karmic outcome. Whichever interpretation of karma you might subscribe to, we know that your thoughts, intentions, and actions have a profound impact on your life, and they can literally be the making or the breaking of you. I mean, there's not a part of the day when you're not thinking something, when you're not actually doing something, taking some action or another. But are you actually aware of what consequences you are creating for yourself and for others on a moment-by-moment basis? And why is it important to have clarity about this? Well, because what you think and do, your karma, actually shapes your life and its outcomes. And there's another significant ancient Indian text called the Bhagavad Gita. In chapter 2.7, it says, Yasya hi swabhavasya tasya so duriti kramaha. As we all know, that of course means habit is our second nature. What then is the first aspect of our nature? This is who we are in our essence. The first aspect of our nature is who we are in our essence. This is the essence of our innate self called Atman, or pure unconditioned consciousness. But our true nature gets heavily veiled by our deep-seated patterns of behavior. To be clear, karma includes not just physical acts, but also deeply ingrained memories, desires, often repetitive emotional, psychological, and spiritual patterns that by repeating again and again become crystallized into habits. The way that water turns to ice, certain thoughts, beliefs, desires, and actions become so habitual that they become set, encoded into our personality. And you could say that these memories become a part of your hardwiring. They become responsible for determining how we automatically react, what we gravitate towards, wanting, liking, disliking, doing, and the decisions and the choices that we naturally are inclined to make. These form patterns of behavior that drive how we ultimately act in life. In Sanskrit, these aspects are called vasana, sanskar, or sometimes they're called samskar. So you might hear people say these words now and then. Simply put, vasana, sanskar, or samskar are grooves, patterns of thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors that are deeply imprinted as memories in our individual consciousness, and that through repetitive application become beliefs and even habits. Beliefs and habits give our action, right or not. Action results in outcomes, which gives us evidence. Evidence further reinforces your beliefs, right or otherwise. Whatever thoughts you repetitively give credence to translate into action and eventually become aspects of your personality. So you could say that your personality is merely a reflection of your karma. This means that as you elevate your self-awareness and make choices that are conscious rather than be given by your deep past memories, you can alter your personality through free will. To properly grasp the concept of karma, and especially how it affects every aspect of your personality and your life, it's necessary to understand the various types of karma. So what exactly does karma actually mean? The Sanskrit word karma, literally translated, means act, action, or deed. It comes from the root kri, meaning to do and to make. That's where the word create originates from. Karma stems from the Sanskrit noun karman. So karma refers to actions or deeds in the past, present, and future. There are 4 types of karma created through your own actions. The first type of karma then is called Sanchit karma. Sanchit karma is the piled up karma. This is the karma that has accumulated from all the works and actions that you've already completed in your past. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Karma that you've already created. For this reason, Sanchit karma can no longer be changed. It's a done deal. This is karma that will come to fruition in your lifetime at some point. The second type of karma is called Prarabdha karma. Prarabdha in Sanskrit means ripe fruit. And you hope that this fruit is juicy and delicious, because this is the karma that is inevitable, and like it or not, it shall be served to you. So Prarabdha karma is what gives your life as you know it right now. This is the karma that is playing out right now. Your past actions are rolling out their results and outcomes as you speak. Like the fruit that's already ripened, Prarabdha karma cannot be changed, neither can it be avoided. You merely have to let it play out, experience it fully, and let it exhaust itself. The third type of karma is called Agami karma. Agami karma is the karma that we have complete free will over. This is the seeds that you are sowing right now, moment by moment, with what you're thinking, with what you're creating, choices that you're making, and the actions that you're taking that will manifest to fruition in the future. By altering your mind right now, and by mind, I mean your habitual patterns of thoughts, habits, and the choices that you make and the actions that you take, anything that creates new significant memories and actions. By making conscious alterations with these, you have the power to determine what your future holds. This means that you have complete control over Agami karma because it affords you free will, your free will. I see Agami karma as an opportunity. I see it as an opportunity to become more and more aware of ourselves as beings who are, in essence, scintillating sparks of consciousness. The fourth type of karma is the one that we accumulate from one lifetime to another lifetime through various spiritual practices, especially practices of Nishkam karma. Simplest way to put that is how the Masons might call doing good for good. The thing about karma is that it's not just your own thoughts, intentions, and actions that impact you. Did you know that it's not unusual for us to take on karma from other people as well? Let me explain. A human being does not exist as an isolated instance within the cosmic matrix. Each one of us is woven with another on the planet in some shape or form. The closer you are in relationship to other people, the more your individual karma can be interwoven. That is to say, you are influenced by the thoughts, actions, and belief systems of others. And very often in families, you'll see a pattern of thinking and beliefs that family members have absorbed from each other, consciously or unconsciously. The same goes for actions. I mean, it's almost impossible not to be impacted and even implicated by the actions or expectations of others in your immediate and extended families, your communities, workplaces, organizational cultures, and even countries. By absorbing other people's opinions and desires, because they influence your own thoughts and desires, this is one of the ways in which you take on other people's karma. It's a bit as if we're all glued together with each other in a sticky web of karma. Which, by the way, is the name of my second book in the Karma and Diamonds trilogy, Web of Karma. Other ways that you can take on another person's karma is by stealing or gossiping, influencing people to treat someone else differently, for example, out of envy, jealousy, resentment, or anger. This can mess up your own karmic account. The point here is to understand that when you make yourself complicit by being party to others' actions that might cause someone harm, even merely as an accessory, you're not altogether exempt from accruing negative karma for yourself. Why is that? Because as a conscious being, you have a choice to oppose or at least not to support or be party to deeds that cause harm to others. At the level of communities, you may unknowingly accrue negative karma through unchallenged practices where injustices and harm is inflicted on others. People with empathic abilities, by identifying too deeply with someone's misfortune or pain, might unconsciously take on someone else's karma as well through the depth of their empathy, often unknowingly. However, taking on someone else's karma is not advisable, as it could be harmful for yourself and it may interfere with the other person's karmic journey. And this is why self-awareness is so important, critical even. Osho, the mystic philosopher, said, "The law of karma exists only for the unconscious man, and for the conscious man, there exists no law of karma." What he meant was that when you conduct your life with self-awareness, your thoughts and actions elevate, rather than trapping you in endless cycles of cause and effects, that is karma. Your actions actually liberate you. Now that you know what the origins of karma are, its different interpretations, how you can acquire karma from others, let's look at how and where karma is stored. It's more than useful to be aware that you actually store karma and how it's tripping you up. Drawing upon some of the earliest of ancient Indian texts, let's dive deeper into the understanding of yet another facet of this universal force that is constantly at play in our lives, whether you believe in it or not, much like gravity. So let's dive in. In one of the earliest Indian texts from 1500 BC, the Rig Veda, there is an illuminating story about two birds. One bird, signifying the human body, is perched on a branch of a fig tree, eating its fruits. The other bird is merely observing. The Rig Veda says, two birds associated together and their mutual friends take refuge in the same tree. One of them eats the sweet fig, and the other, abstaining from food, merely looks on. The bird that consumes the fruits of the tree of life is known as the Jivatman. The fruits, being like an early emerging concept of karma in that ancient Indian text, is a form of material and sensual pleasures. Now, the Jivatman is the name given to the soul of the individual human being. It's the Jivatman that is the part of the soul consciousness that is conditioned by karma. The second bird plays the role of the observer. This observer is Atman, the consciousness that is beyond any conditioning or laws of material world as we know it. In that regard, Atman is pure consciousness, untainted by external influences. Your Atman always remains in its primordial essence, and as such, it's your higher self, your higher consciousness. It's who you are beyond the limited scope of the Jivatman through which we are experiencing life as the body, ego, and mind. In my books, the Karma and Diamonds trilogy, in my own journey of self-discovery, I learned how to clear my own stubborn karma. As I learned to connect with my higher consciousness within myself, I was blown away that I was actually able to hear its guidance through my intuitive voice. I learned to tune into the wisdom of this higher consciousness during challenging times in my life and used it to triumph over some of the most traumatic circumstances in my life. It's said throughout the Indian sacred texts, dating all the way back to the Rig Veda, that the consciousness which incarnates in the human body, the Jivatman, is where your karma is stored. The Jivatman comes into the human form with certain memories predominant or activated, and this is who you know yourself to be as the you, the human being. Specifically, karma is stored by way of deep-seated memory and information in your energy centers or chakras. These psychic energy centers reside in your astral or subtle body, called the Sukshma Sharir in Sanskrit. So then, how can you ensure that your soul doesn't keep coming back? And like the first bird in the tree, you are not perpetually trapped in compulsively picking at the fruit of life, being the creator and the consumer of your karma. This brings us to the next part of the journey, which is to break the cycle of karma altogether. How? By moving towards becoming the observer or witness, like the second bird in the tree of life. Remember what Osho said? This means elevating your self-awareness, and by becoming more self-aware, you're able to detach from the cycle of constantly reacting through your five senses, where you are still able to participate in all aspects of life, but with the discernment to detach. In other words, you become unhookable. How do you do this exactly? Well, that's something that we'll talk about in another show. Like the second bird, you become the observer who's developed the self-mastery to enjoy the fruit's essence without having to compulsively eat it. So this is one way that you can step off the incessant wheel of karma. This is how you free yourself from being in the grip of cause and effect on your soul's journey. But there's one more advice that the ancient Brihat Aranyak gives, and that's how to create good karma. It tells you exactly what you need to do to actively create good karma and see your life change beyond recognition. In that text, Yajnavalkya recommends these 3 codes of ethics as being the foundation for creating good karma: self-restraint or dham, charity or dan, compassion or daya. The first of these, self-restraint, went on several centuries later to become the foundation of the 5 yamas and the 5 niyamas in Sage Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, written around 500 BC. He's that famous yoga guide that everyone talks about. Practicing self-restraint encourages us to temper our desires, allowing for mindful decision-making. Charity reminds us of our shared human experience, encouraging a spirit of giving. Compassion fosters empathy, urging us to act with kindness and understanding. Practicing these principles can help amass good karma, yet the journey doesn't stop there. It's about wholeheartedly embodying these teachings and not merely following them like ticking the boxes. That said, these are not standalone qualities, but parts of a larger, interconnected ethos of conscious living. Following these values should not be driven by fear of bad karma. This shift from fear to understanding steers us away from karmic obligations and towards conscious choice making. As these qualities become part of your everyday life, they become your inner guide rather than just outside rules. They become a way of life that expresses your inner spirituality. Cultivating good karma involves self-reflection and personal change, aligning with your higher self, like the second bird in the tree of life. By becoming the observer, we overcome past karma and live more consciously. Phew. We've gone through so much in this episode. We've talked about what karma is and how it relates to your thoughts, desires, and actions, where it's stored, how we take on other people's karma, how our desires trap us to keep taking birth again and again. And we've also talked about how to free yourself from that birth-death cycle and put good karma in the bank. And finally, we spoke about how to create a conscious life. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll look at how to make these powerful shifts in another episode. I hope you got value from this. Thank you for watching. Now that you know more about karma and how to deal with it, allow me to tell you a little bit about my guided meditations. These are meditations all based on real events from my own life, intense, magical moments, transformative experiences that I share with you as guided meditations. And in these meditative journeys, you'll find yourself transcending the activity of your mind, connect with your inner self, clear your karma, expand your consciousness, feel inner peace. And that's what you'll get from my guided meditations. You can also find my meditations on my website, smitajoshi.com, on Insight Timer, Apple Music, and Spotify. One meditation is called Drifting Clouds, Wandering Thoughts. I'll guide you to see that your thoughts, feelings and emotions are but like transient clouds in the sky, like cotton candy clouds drifting gently through the sky. Your thoughts appear and then float away again. This meditation is a practice of letting go. Another meditation is called Floating on the Ocean, Trusting the Rhythm of Life. This one is about learning to trust yourself, trust that the ocean and the universe take care of you. There's one that's called Star-Studded Sky, and I'll take you on a magical journey through the cosmos, floating among the stars, drifting in infinite tranquility, gliding into a state of pure being. You'll see that you're free to let go of things that no longer serve you, things that keep you from knowing your peace and joy. You'll come back feeling light and free, knowing that you too are made of the stars. The fourth is called Walking the Fire, Clearing Your Karma. It's based on when I did a fire walk by the side of the river Ganges after sunset. Take a magical moment, a moment to let go of your fears, a moment to let go of your karma. And this meditation is more unconventional. It's an active rhythmic meditation. This is a meditation where you'll find yourself feeling free to move your body with its hypnotizing rhythm and surrender to its trance and transcend into a sensible lightness. Free old karma and feel fabulous. Walk the fire with me. Do join me on one of these amazing meditations. Remember that you are a spark of consciousness, a sparkling diamond. Let's listen to a few of these meditation samples. Drifting clouds, wandering thoughts. This meditation is a practice of letting go, of mastering your thoughts with ease. Floating on the ocean, trusting the rhythm of life. The clear azure, tropical sky lets the sun shine, casting brightness far and wide. A star-studded sky. It's a warm summer's night. The field around you is open and empty. The grass you're lying on feels like a comfortable bed. The fresh fragrance of the grass beneath you slowly rises in the air. Walking the fire, clearing your karma. It's an Indian summer. A warm, perfect evening. Mother Ganges drifts leisurely by in full swing.